Hey guys, Mr. Derry, we're going to get started on learning how to put our house model created in Revit onto a drawing sheet so that we can print out and take our plans home or give them to a contractor to build your house. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to create your own custom sheet, your own piece of paper to work with. And I put a copy of a B-sized piece of paper. B is 11 by 17. In the resource folder that is, if you've forgotten, it's in the student share. So I'm going to direct you how to get there. Let me just back up a little bit. So you're going to go to your computer. You're going to go to the student share folder. You're going to run down and hit LOLHS and go to Dairy. I'm going kind of fast. You can slow this video if you need to. And you're going to go to Revit families and you're going to right click and copy this because we're going to put it straight into your folder so that you can make your own copy. Don't delete it from there. Don't change it here because everyone else is going to need it. So you're just going to make a copy of it. And then you're going to jump over into your own folder. So again, we could go to the tech drive, find the student folders, find your folder, and go into your architectural design folder. I'm going to paste it in here. And what I'd like you to do, notice that this file is a .rfa, not .rvt. This is a template for a drawing sheet. And you're going to rename it to your own. So put your own name in here. I'm just going to emphasize this by saying put your name in. All right, so put your name in here. And then if you double click on it, it will launch Revit and it will bring you into a place where you can actually edit the contents of this. So let's see if this flies. Okay, and this should have launched. And right now you'll notice that you see Revit up here, but this is one of those places where, just like we edited the windows or other things in there, this is a place where editing items that families that Revit uses. And I want you to change this to say your name. So you're going to come in here and type in your name, right? And we could put what period it is if we want. So it doesn't matter. Period 2 Arc Design. All right. We're not going to worry about the rest of it right now. We're going to go ahead and hit save. And now we can close this out. Now we're going to go ahead and open up your house. Now I've opened up Melanie's house again and made a copy and saved it into my folder. And I want to show you how we're going to bring this sheet in here. Now Revit has a bunch of sheets already created for us, but they're various sizes and I don't want to get caught up into too much into sheet sizes and so forth. But just like sections, every time you create a section, it's another view. Well, sheets are similar, but a little different in that sheets represent a two-dimensional space that we can print out, but we can put views onto a sheet. And there are all these that are already created for us, but I don't want to use any of them. So how would we add a new one? What you're going to do is you're going to right click here and say new sheet. And you need to load it first. So we're going to need to load this sheet that we just created. So you're going to need to go to your computer, go to the tech drive, find your folder that you just put in there. So I'm going to go into my folder, architectural design, and here's that file, that sheet that I said was your name. Hopefully yours says your name, doesn't really matter. If you remember, I edited the contents of that sheet to have my actual name on it. So when I double click on this, there's going to be a your name size in here. Now, better off that you left a size B in there, but that's okay. We're going to leave that alone. Hit OK. Now, and notice that there's a B5 unnamed that just showed up here. So it knows that it's a B size sheet and it put a number. Now I can change this to whatever I want. And notice over here, it's what I changed to be my name and architectural design period 2. So this is what I want. It's this sheet. We can rename this, and I'm going to rename it right now to be, I'm going to leave it as B5, and I'm going to call it, first floor or something like that. First floor, and we'll hit OK. Now, I want to pull a view onto this sheet, and this is where it gets a little tricky. So I'm going to take this dimension, and let me just delete a couple of these because I've made too many. So if I go over here, you'll notice that this is Melanie's fully dimensioned floor plan, and I want to make a copy of that. So I'm going to say duplicate view with details. All right, and then I'm going to rename it, and we'll just call it first floor with dims or something. And I'm going to remove some of the dimensions and make it so that it will be a little bit easier for us to have on the sheet. I'm going to take out all the dimensions except the overalls for now. Oops, must have selected something I didn't want to. There we go. Just take out those dimensions. Actually, first I want to turn off all these section views because I don't want to see them. There's a couple of ways to do that. If I go under visibility and pull up this annotation tab, I can turn off section views. This is one way to do it. Hit OK, and those section views go away. All right, and now I can make it a little easier for me to get rid of these interior dimensions that I want to just pull out for now, just to make it a little cleaner. Oops, undo that. All right, and the reason I'm pulling these out is because our sheets are B size are kind of small, and I don't want them to get too crowded with too much information. Okay, now that we've got them, I'm going to pull these a little tighter and pull those in a little bit. Okay, you got the idea. We can tweak this a little bit more if you want to. Be nice to have some floor names in there. So if you wanted to annotate and put some text in there that, you know, identifies what these rooms are, you know, I don't know if this is a living room. Oops. That might be nice to put some of that stuff in there to identify each of those. Okay, once you've got this view created how you want it, we can also change the size of that text if we want to, and make it a little bit bigger, easier to see. I don't want to make this video too long. We now got to take this view and put it on a sheet. Now, I don't need these elevation symbols in here, so I can select them and right click and say hide in view by category, and it's just going to take my elevations off. That's similar to going over here and doing that, just a quicker way of doing that. So I've got those off. Okay, so now I'm going to make my scale be an eighth of an inch equals a foot for this guy. Now I'm going to drop down, and this is where it gets a little tricky at first. I'm going to go down to my first floor, make it active, and then I'm going to go back up to this view that I created, which was my first floor dims. Where is it? Here we go, first floor with dims. And I'm just going to drag this onto my sheet. And you'll see that there it is. I've got my first floor, it fits, and I can print it out and have a copy of it. It's got my name on there, and we're good to go. Now, this shouldn't have come in as unnamed, so let me just take a look here. Try renaming that, see what happens. Oh, that's because I should have put this part. Let me cut that out of there. That really belonged here. And now notice that it fills in that category for me. So that's just a sheet number, that's the sheet name. I'm filled in, it gives me my scale, and now I'm ready to print. And I can send this to the tech copier, and I can show you how to do a B-size sheet. Now, we could make as many of these as we want. So let's take a look at how to do another one. So I'm going to go to Sheet, New. I'm going to select the same size that I have. And now I come in with another one. It's B6. I'm going to call this, let me rename it. And I can leave the number same, and I can say, front elevation. All right, whoops, see if I can spell it correctly. All right, front elevation. All right, and let's go take a look at what that would be. Now, I don't know whether or not this is, it is the front elevation. Okay, so this is the front elevation for Melanie's house. It's got a lot of stuff that I don't want to look at right now. So I should be able to duplicate this again. Duplicate view with detailing. All right, and I'm going to rename it to be a front elevation. And again, I don't want to see all of these sectional views, so I'm going to select that, right click, hide in view by category. It's going to get rid of all of those. And for our purposes, I really don't want to look at all of these as well right now, so I'm going to hit hide in view by category and take all of those out. Now there, it looks like there's a reference plane, and I can hide in view for that as well. So get rid of my reference plane. So now I'm left with my house, and be a nice way to present, get a look for presentation purposes anyway. This isn't going to be for construction purposes. This is just to show the client what our house is going to look like from the front. Now, another thing I usually turn off when I'm doing a presentation elevation is these swing lines for the windows. So it might take me a second to find those, but let's give it a go. So under Visibility Graphics, I'm going to go Edit. I'm going to go to Windows, which is way down here. Open that up, and I'm going to deselect the elevation swing, which is that guy right there. And I'm going to do the same thing with my doors, because I don't want to see the elevation swing on my doors. And I know I'm going maybe a little fast for some folks, but I think you'll get it. Notice that those lines came out, and now this looks kind of pretty. Now we got to set a scale that's going to fit, and I think we're going to have to do the same thing in order for this to fit on the sheet. We're probably going to need to take it down to 1/8 of an inch. Let's try that. We can always make it a little bit bigger. Hit apply. Now that's my front. Now remember, we're going to go down to our sheet, which is front elevation, which I still didn't spell correctly. Double click on that, scroll back up, find my front elevation, drag it onto my sheet, and there we go. So probably could have made it a little bit bigger. Now there's a way to change the way that this looks and activate this view. You can double click on it, and it's going to activate the view, and then I can go down here and make it look realistic, and it's going to change that to add all the colors that Melanie had to her house if I want to do that. I can also add additional pieces to this. Now I'm going to, when I deactivate the view, it goes back to my sheet, allows me to move this around a little bit. So here's my elevation. I probably could crop that view so it cuts out the bottom of my foundation. And let's see, how do I remember how to do that now? I think I need to activate view, go down here to crop, where is it? And I could move this line up and get rid of that. Whoops. Get rid of part of my, this is taking a long time to react. That's because I have it in that detailed view. All right, so go ahead and do that, and then right click and deactivate. And now I can also go back down and hide my crop line. So we don't need to see that. So where's that? That should be down here. All right, I'll get back to that in a second. We can turn that black line off there. So this is a nice way to be able to print out your house, take it home, have a copy of it. I want to show you one more fun thing, and I'm going to do that as a separate video. This video hopefully will get you through pulling in at least your first floor and your front elevation onto a B-size sheet so that we can print them.